What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob. Doing an Italian malt whiskey. It's called Puni Alba. All right, really cool bottle. When I first heard about these guys, I was super excited because it's the first whiskey malt distillery in Italy. It's located in South Tyrol. I've never heard of it. I've been to Italy myself. I'm Italian myself. I've never heard of that part of Italy, but I know that it's in the north. The distillery is actually really cool looking. It's very high tech looking. They use Scottish stills, all right, the Scottish style stills for their distilling. This whiskey though is a combination of malted barley, some rye, and some wheat. All right, so it's a blended whiskey. It's aged for 3 years in Italian Marsala casks from Sicily. Marsala, much like sherry, is a fortified wine. A lot of people prefer sherry wine, but obviously if you're Italian, you kind of have a soft spot for Marsala because it's something that you probably grew up with. All right. Marsala is super sweet. It's a dark, it can be a dark red, or it can be a little bit like this color. Yeah, it just talks about the state-of-the-art facility that they have, which I will say, if you have a chance to check it out, I highly recommend you Google it because it's really nice. These are young whiskeys. It's to be expected that you're not gonna have the most robust, the most incredible, the most refined whiskey. But I'm gonna nose it, taste it, and give it a mark because it's priced pretty high. This was $85 in Alberta, probably more in most places. It's not available in Ontario yet, but it'll probably work its way here. What's surprising about this is it's finished, I didn't mention that earlier, it's finished in Islay casks from Scotland. So you can tell it's peaty right off the hop, but it's a nice peat. The nose is really welcoming because it's sweet from the Marsala casks, and then you have that nice peat. But it's obviously not going to be an overwhelming peat because it's just their whiskey aged in a peated cask, basically. Or a cask that once had peated whiskey in it. It would be cool to know where they sourced their Islay barrels from, like which distillery. It's bottled at 43%, right? On the nose you get a nice barbecue type peat. It's not your medicinal, rubbery, iodine style. There is a nice saltiness too, okay, and that's probably coming from the cask. Because this is located near a river and near some mountains, the Alps, I think, but I could be wrong, Italian Alps. So you're not gonna get the salt from the vicinity in which the distillery is located. You're gonna get the salt from the Islay casks, in my opinion. Really nice nose though. Get some chocolate in the background from the Marsala. Maybe a little bit of like a cherry. And then that nice barbecue smell. On the palate, so the entry is nice and it's almost promising. You almost forget how minerally and how young it ends up tasting. And that kind of surprises me because for the most part, Italy has very warm weather. They do have colder winters, but on average, the average temperature is a lot warmer than Scotland. It's a lot warmer than many parts of the world. So I would expect there to be some rapid aging, even though it's probably only about 3.5 years old. That doesn't happen here. The nose is beautiful. It's too bad And like I said, the entry is beautiful, and then all of a sudden something happens mid-palate, and you could really find the youth of this whiskey. It's not bad. It's not bad. Considering it's only 3.5 or so years old, I rather enjoy it. I wouldn't buy another bottle at $80, that's for sure. I'm gonna wait till Puni's coming out with their maybe 8-year-old whiskey, 10-year-old whiskey, and see what it's like at that point. Because at the moment, this just tastes a little too young. Oh, it does say at the back, natural color and non-chill filtered. It's too bad because it's checking all the boxes. I don't love that they decided to blend it with Rye and Wheat. I think they should have tried to do a single malt instead. But they're relatively new, and I'm sure they will eventually do that sort of thing. Much like the Italians always do, style comes first, and this bottle is awesome in my opinion. The distillery looks incredible. I do think great things are going to come from this place. One more sip, and then I'll give it a mark. You know what though? This exact whiskey, 3-4 years from now, will probably be way better because it's actually pretty good, and each sip gets a little better. It's just missing something, and you can tell it's a little bit young. But other than that, it's good stuff. I don't mind it. I'm gonna give it a B+. I think it's around the 78. All right. I'm not gonna give it an A-. I'm not gonna give it an A. It needs a little bit more time. For what it is, a 3-and-a-bit-year-old whiskey in a new distillery in a country that's not commonly making whiskey. They actually are more commonly making brandy or grappa. That's really good stuff. So they should be proud. It's something to be proud of to produce any world market whiskey, in my opinion. And I do expect much, much better things in the future. Okay, so that's the Puni Alba. I bet there's a bunch of people out there that strongly disagree with me, and that's good. I hope there are, because that's good news. If the distillery keeps selling bottles, then they'll be producing better stuff in the future. Other than that, like I said, it's a B+. All right. You guys can check me out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Have a look at my Patreon. I'll drop the link in the description below, and you can also check me out on Snaps. Cheers, guys.